Richard Stivers provides insights into the practices of magic in the context of technology and its social and psychological consequences. Connecting technology and magic, two disparate phenomena that on the surface seem totally unrelated, makes for a refreshing intellectual journey. With Ellul's technological society as his primary inspiration, he constructs a paradigm that juxtaposes the human experience, grounded in spiritual ritual, with modern and postmodern promises of social, managerial, and political efficiency. The result, Stivers fears, is a world falsely enlightened through magical sleights of hand, with the purpose of adjusting humans to a technological civilization to bring them in line with technical progress. Illustrating that Ellul's seminal ideas still resonate with 21st century problems, Stivers argues in his introductory chapter that today's managerial techniques have social and psychological consequences that result in efficient ordering of our world, an order that for the most part is almost invisible to the unwary observer. Examples include corporate models that are designed to beguile and herd employees with scientific and humanistic management techniques inspired by administrative magic. Citing best-selling authors Robert Greenleaf and Peter Drucker, he suggests that scientific, statistically measurable techniques are actually a means of manipulating employees into being servants to their managers. Psychological techniques such as these, I argue, are forms of magic. Stivers does more than simply expose the problems. He provides counterpoints and countervailing arguments. He suggests that human activity that is truly qualitative cannot be measured and predicted. He cites Henry Mintzberg, who goes against prevailing management technique by advising that the most valuable kind of information in organizations is intuitive and holistic, informal and non-statistical. By narrowing the term magic to mean an attempt to influence, predict, and control the future through symbolic means, Stivers does a convincing job of connecting magic with science and technology. Symbolic words and actions of magic work according to the principles of persuasion, retribution, and causality. They provide an indirect or symbolic link between information and outcome. Here is where Stivers invokes Ellul's theory of the three milieus: nature, society, and technology. The nature of a magic you practice changes with the milieu you live in, because magic deals with the most powerful force in your milieu. The most powerful force is different in each of the three milieus. In our technological milieu, our magic acquires the image and aura of technology, but the function and effectiveness of a placebo. The most powerful of magics in our technological milieu is the mass media. In terms of emphasis, Stivers gives more than double the coverage to his advertising critique compared with public relations. He might have given the invisible magic of public relations a more critical examination. Although he addresses its power and influence, he fails to recognize that public relations may be more influential than advertising. Audiences tend to be more skeptical of advertising, and they always know its source. In contrast, people readily accept public relations messages as more credible. Indeed, compared to advertising, public relations should have been characterized as the more magical sleight of hand, because consumers believe most of their daily news is coming from the media rather than from a company or institution. Stivers makes a convincing argument that advertising symbolically links consumption to happiness. Not only does advertising sell technological products, it promotes the notion of commodification of all things human. It creates a magical Disney-like kingdom of happiness, framed in the milieu of consumption. Advertising magic is the visualization of a commodity for spiritual consumption. In the process, human beings become objectified as commodities, and as such are equal to their image. Ultimately, human image becomes more important than lived reality itself. Stivers transfers this argument to the topic of celebrity as crucial to advertising. Celebrities are themselves first and foremost commodities. Citing Kierkegaard, Stivers questions the ethics of celebrity worship in advertising because it capitalizes on the deadly sin, envy. Envy is the negative unifying principle in celebrity worship in advertising. Television and other mass media are less important than advertising in Stivers' view. He proposes that television programs are ads for advertisements. Television programs also sell the philosophy underlying the technological milieu by focusing on forms of power, sex, and violence. Perhaps Stivers' most promising critique centers on the magic that emanates from the institutions of higher learning. He laments the humanities that were at one time a preparation for reflective participation as citizens and for intellectual labor. Our evolution into an industrial society is now infatuated with the magic of simulated images and the requirement for high-salary careers rather than soul-satisfying intellectual labor or even manual labor. The public, business, and parents demand technicians, and we give our customers what they want. Many scholars would agree that the modern university is becoming almost completely technical and magical in its administration, teaching, research, and student services. Our educational administrators are magicians par excellence, as they recycle models and magical practices from the business world, including various assessment and accountability measures and planning exercises. The distressing conclusion is that in our magical, technologically driven universities, we give our students the impression that all knowledge can be quantified, precisely measured, and most importantly, reduced to logic and rationalism without the intellectual labor of critical examination. A key point Stivers revisits through his texts is that the technological society, with its drive for efficiency in all things, has corrupted language and eroded its symbolic ritual value. In its place, magical techniques fill the symbolic vacuum by weakening language, and they fill it in such a way as to reinforce the hegemony of the technological society, a society that Stivers urges us to resist in his admonitions throughout the book. On the whole, Stivers does an excellent job of revitalizing the Ellullian premise that people must remain awake and alert to recognize that democracy is elusive, and that it is a human enterprise, not a technologically efficient machine run by untouchable political celebrities. He concludes with an admonition that the struggle is not against technology, but against the technological system of production and consumption. Without magic, technology would have no fatal sway over us. It is here that the struggle for freedom must begin.